Hey fellow beer lovers, welcome to episode 3. I'll tell you what, see that right there? It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? This happens to be an example of my all-time, one of my all-time favorite IPAs. An IPA, as you no doubt are aware, is an India Pale Ale. And this one's made by Indeed Brewing, right out of Minnesota. And it's called Let It Ride. All right, now let me raise my glass again to you. It's a Let It Ride IPA from Indeed Brewing. And I'm demonstrating it's a tulip chalice is what it is. Now, you know what, I want to tell you all about it, but I'm just way too thirsty, so I'm going to have to take a sip. Just a second. Oh man, you guys just don't know what you're missing. But I'm going to explain, okay? First of all, what is an IPA? An IPA is an India Pale Ale. Basically, it's got a whole bunch of extra hops that's thrown in there. To the uninitiated, an IPA would be considered bitter or strong. Those are the words that a first-timer might use to describe the taste of an IPA. But among beer lovers, the term is hoppy, because that strongness or that bitterness is actually the hops that they're tasting. I like to say that the hoppiness of the beer tastes like fresh cut grass smells. Yep, and that's how I like to describe it. And if you've ever studied anything about the olfactory system, you know that taste and smell are inextricably connected. You can't have one without the other, really. They're very interrelated. So anyway, so why is it called an India Pale Ale? Well, I haven't read up on this in order to make sure that my facts have been checked, but as I understand it, back in the early days of importing and exporting beer, the British, when they were bringing beer to India, they found that the long amount of time that it took to ship from Western Europe to South Asia was causing the beer to skunk. It was actually spoiling, and so it wasn't any good. And they determined that by throwing additional hops in there, that acted as a preservative, and so it lasted longer, and so they could deliver it, and people could enjoy it after the long journey there. So a little bit of history for you. If my facts aren't exactly right, go ahead and put them in the comments, but please be nice. Anyway, so I also wanted to talk a little bit about stemmed beer glasses, okay? I, for one, love a good stemmed beer glass. To be continued, I have to have a little bit more of this. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, so now listen, I'm just going to put this out there, okay? I'm no sissy. I'm not a girly guy, and I have no problem drinking from a chalice, okay? And I've seen the the viral videos on Facebook that are quite funny about about the college guy not being comfortable drinking from a girly beer glass, and very funny actually. However, I'll tell you this: do you really, chalices stemmed goblets that are called chalices. These were the types of glasses that warrior kings drank from. Okay, some of these guys were like 400 pounds and burly, and you know, they were far from effeminate. Okay, no offense to the effeminate guys out there, but you know what? Everybody can enjoy a stemmed beer glass, regardless of how masculine or not one might be. And matter of fact, hold on a second. Yeah, you know, as a matter of fact, not only do I recommend that you get yourself an Indeed Let It Ride IPA, but I recommend that you get yourself a good stemmed beer glass. Okay, stemmed beer glasses, well, wide-mouthed beer glasses in particular, as I pointed out when I was talking about snifters. These are good for really showcasing the aromatic character of your beer. And as I said that time as well, IPAs are very aromatic. You can smell that smell of fresh cut grass in there. As a matter of fact, some people like having a hoppy beer right after cutting the grass, which I just did. It's just kind of nice because if you know your beers, then while you're out there cutting the grass and you're smelling that fresh cut grass, you just might start craving an IPA. Okay? So other than that, what do I want to tell you about Indeed Let It Ride? I'll tell you specifically what I like about their IPA compared with all the other IPAs out there. You might know this, that you know, these days, and you know, we're living in this like renaissance period of brew pubs, especially here in Minnesota, where you know, a few years ago maybe we had, you know, 5 or 10 or 20 brew pubs around the state, and now we're over 130 last time I heard the count, which was months ago. Over 130 brew pubs, most of them right here in the greater Twin Cities. So it's really, really cool. But I'll tell you what makes the new brew pubs kind of the way they establish themselves as a craft brewer. The first thing they do is they make an IPA. You know, they make a hoppy beer, whether it's an IPA or a double IPA or some other type of pale ale. American Pale Ale, India Pale Ale, English Pale Ale. You know, they're all very similar and they're all very hoppy. So what distinguishes one hopped up beer from another? Well, for one thing, the specific type of hops, okay? And in what I really, really love about this recipe, and I don't know exactly what they're doing that's giving it that characteristic, but it's what I really love is that the notes that come out from the hops to me are reminiscent of watermelon. Okay, now again, it's not a flavored beer, so it's not like they squeezed a watermelon and or brewed it with watermelon. It's just that the particular flavor that comes out of the hops and maybe through the brewing process it just kind of hints at or reminds you of watermelon. That's what it reminds me of anyway. Somebody else might say, oh, it's really fruity. Well, you know, all hops is going to give you some fruitiness. And all hops is going to, you know, throw off some citric aromas and certainly the grassy aromas. But this one has all that stuff, especially with you know, more of an accented fruity or watermelon tang to it. Okay, so when you get one of these, don't expect it to just overwhelm you with a watermelon taste. If that's what you want, go get yourself some watermelon schnapps. Okay, but if you're a discerning connoisseur of beers, you'll definitely notice it and appreciate it. All right, so that's all I have for today. I went a little bit longer than I intended, but I guess I had a lot to say about this. So now, cheers, and we'll see you next time.